Hello, everybody. Pop culture curator here. I hope everyone is doing well. I know it's been a while since I've had a live stream. I I've had my watch party at Ray Bradbury Theater, but I have to make this stream in dedication to Michelle Nichols, who I am and was a huge fan ever since I was a child. My first memories, I was born in '64, so I was crawling around in a diaper as Star Trek was playing on the television in the background on a black and white television set. And my first memories are looking up at the. I still remember now the iconic images that I remember. The first images in my mind, the first impressions that I got in my mind that I remember from Star Trek was the beautiful Nichelle Nichols on the bridge of the Enterprise. Her beauty and in the red dress and her professionalism. To me, it was like a second mother. The main images I can remember, it's like looking at a couple still images from an old scrapbook. But I remember the image of her on the bridge. And hello, Gorilla. Good to see you there.
Yeah,
Good to see you. Yeah, I was just explaining my original memories from the original Star Trek, the original series. I was very young when it premiered live, and I was still crawling around in a diaper when it was playing on the television. And the first thing, the images that it still stick in my mind, the very first images. This was even before I understood what they were even talking about or what the situation was. Is I remember the image of Nichelle Nichols sitting on the bridge with that beautiful red dress and with all the colored lights behind her. And I remember Captain Kirk, and I remember the Enterprise flying through space. Those are my very first memories of Star Trek. And that was long before I even knew what it was or what it meant or what it was about. I ended up, once I went to school, obviously, and started growing up, I got used to the fact that when I got home, our local independent station would show, which was, I guess, a very popular time slot for Star Trek back in the '70s, '60s, and '70s. But it was usually shown around 6 p.m., around the 6 p.m. slot, usually to counter local news. So I know a lot of us kids were not into watching the news at the time. That wasn't when you're a kid. You don't want to get into things like that. You want to watch something more fun and exciting. So when I came home from school, my afternoons were filled with Star Trek and the original Lost in Space, Gilligan's Island, Bewitched, I Dream of Jeannie, and things like that. But for me, the apex of the day was always Star Trek. It ran from 6 to 7, Monday through Friday, and I watched those episodes over and over. I never got tired of them, never grew tired of them. The only thing that was disappointing was, which I still remember, is during the school year, is we come home, we would watch Star Trek, which was fine and dandy. We fell in love with it. We got used to watching it. But then as soon as school let out, like at the end of May, early June, or whatever, last day of school, the very following week, those very same stations would stop showing Star Trek and instead show a show called The Invaders, about starring Roy Finnis, a Quinn Martin production about a man who witnesses an alien invasion. The show only ran for 1 or 2 seasons. At the time when I was young, I really hated it and I despised it because they took Star Trek off in order to show The Invaders. And I was always like, what is this Invaders? We want to see Star Trek. And especially because it's the summertime. During the summertime when there was no school, we were traveling around visiting our friends and going over our friends' houses. And we wanted to sit and watch Star Trek together and talk about Star Trek. But during the summer, we couldn't because they were showing The Invaders. And then, lo and behold, of course, September would come around. It was time for school to start. And boom, they would take off The Invaders and put Star Trek back on again. And that would play during the whole school year. And I remember that every single year for several years growing up. I think it was finally, I think they did that model up until when cable TV came out and it started coming out on cable TV channels like the Sci Fi Channel.
Mm.
I think when that happened, it stopped playing as much, so much as locally. But sorry to keep talking or
Yeah.
going on
Did
about things,
someone just get
Gorilla.
shot? Did someone just get shot?
Why?
I just heard a gunshot through the micro or through the headphones.
On my side?
Yeah, I thought so.
No, but sometimes the way I feel about my roommates, you never know. But no. My dog just hopped off the
No,
bed onto the floor to get some water. I'm wondering
no,
maybe if
maybe
that's what
that's
you
what it
heard.
was.
There may have been some.
Fix the
I
check.
have.
All right,
Okay.
just
I have a little bit of noise going on in the background there, everybody. So if you hear my stream element spot claims that it's running, but I don't know if I could trust it. It seems to be really lackluster lately. I noticed Jill was having trouble getting it to work on her stream as well. Let me try this out here.
yeah, mine's a little picky too.
All right, I'm putting a. I just put a link on. Hopefully yours. I said gorilla, and it says please visit Resolute Germs channel. How do you like that, huh? So
But that's by channel.
Resolute Germ.
No, 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 that's my channel ID code. The
Okay,
UCW.
so the UCWBB is you. I need to change the where it says please visit Resolute Germs channel. Is
Yeah,
that right?
let me double check that because it says Saturday morning cartoons. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I don't know why my element says that. I apologize. I need to fix that
No,
because
you're totally fine.
it's supposed to be promoting your channel, and
Yeah. Rule
I'm not
number
sure.
6. Yeah,
I'm
mine's
sure.
UCWBBD5C55
I'm looking at it now,
SCR.
and how do I edit this
Yeah,
page?
that's
There we go.
yeah. No,
There we
rule
go.
number 6 there, pop culture. Rule number 6.
So, but the channel link is correct. Is that right?
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna see if I can fix this. I'm gonna see if I can post it again. All right.
Yeah.
Fix the spelling. I'm gonna have to
Ooh.
notice my bot finally works, and then of course I promote the wrong channel. Okay, now I think I just went in just now, and I think I was able to fix the element. So let me check now. I'm gonna try this again. Now let's see what it says. Watch it protest and not work at all.
Oh. Yeah,
Yeah,
so I gave a little 2 minute tribute video to Michelle Nichols.
yeah. I saw your video. Very good. Very nice. I heard about people making ill-informed judgments about your thumbnail.
Oh yeah, I could show the whole conversation there, but the
Was
no
it one
the
person or a lot
funniest
of people?
no, it was just one person. I
Oh,
was
and that's
like
just it was probably just a troll.
the funniest thing too. I was like, yeah, bet you this guy's from California, probably suburb, probably lives in the suburbs. You could tell he was white in his picture. I was like, yep, he's a white suburban Kyle who thinks he has to tell everybody what they should be offended by.
Well, usually the ones that are calling out people as being racist are usually racist themselves. I
Yeah,
mean, if he wasn't racist, that would have never crossed his mind, right?
yeah, and I never associated a gorilla with a person of minority status.
Because you're not racist. Only a racist person
Yeah.
would point that out.
See, I feel like I look at gorillas as they're humble, they're gracious creatures who are loyal, but will whoop your ass when they need to.
Yeah, I was gonna say just don't piss them off, right? Exactly.
Yeah. Look at what's his name in Tarzan? Uh Kim. Now I gotta look it up.
Jeez. Of course, see, now my bot's not working at all anymore. I'm gonna try this again. I'll try Jill's. See what happens if I try to promote Jill's channel. See if anything happens.
That's-
I don't expect a lot of people here on this stream. I'm sure there's other people out there streaming that are much more important that have more subs. So this was just a tribute to Nichelle Nichols because she was real meant a lot to me. I wish my channel was around when Leonard and Moy passed. I would have done a tribute for him as well as the other ones.
Yeah.
Um, I don't like the way George Takei has turned in lately. Takei, however he likes to call his name for attention, but I don't like the way his personal attacks are to other people, which is
Yeah.
really not good. But it
Yeah.
still does not diminish my opinion of the original series. I can still watch the original series and still separate the man from the characters. So that I'm lucky to. I know
I was,
uh,
I was thinking of Kerchak. Kerchak.
what's that.
That's the name of the gorilla in Tarzan.
Oh, okay,
I
gotcha.
was talking about.
Now, when you talk about Tarzan, you mean talk about because I know there were several movies. You mean a movie or what?
Well, the one that I was talking about, the 1999 one, is the one I remember the most.
Is that the one with Christopher Lambert, Tarzan, The Legend of
Goldwyn is Tarzan's voice. It's an animated one.
Oh cartoon? Oh yeah, I probably didn't see it then. I was a fan of the live action movies.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to see the live action one yet. This was the animated one that me and my kids seen.
Oh, then I mean it's probably Disney, right?
Um,
I think it was.
I guess
I'm not a
Disney.
fan of. I'm not a fan of the way Disney interprets stories. I usually try to stick to the originals if I can.
Let's see, production
Have you ever seen the movies Highlander?
Highlander.
Yeah, but the two guys with they're like immortal and they have swords and
Oh,
they
we
fight
watched
each
that
other.
on movie night.
Okay, the guy who played in that, Christopher Lambert, he played in a really good Tarzan movie called Greystoke, The Legend of Tarzan, Lord of the Apes. I highly recommend it. It's a live action Tarzan movie. He did a pretty good job in it.
Uh,
But they made Tarzan movies going way back to black and white movies, even silent. There was a guy named John Hall who played Tarzan for many years. And then it was played by a few other characters. And then, like I said, Greystoke, The Legend of Tarzan, Lord of the Apes, kind of told the story how the baby boy was left in the woods, abandoned or lost, and how he was eventually found and brought back to royalty because apparently his family was royalty. So they brought him back to civilization and tried to adapt him back to civilization, and it didn't work so well. But that's Tarzan. But let me ask: did you ever get a chance to meet Nichelle Nichols, the one who played Uhura?
the only celebrity I've ever met was the lead singer of Poison at a gas station at 1:30 in the morning.
How'd you figure out it was him?
Uh, the big old bus with his picture and his name on it kind of gave it away.
Oh, okay, gotcha. One time, I was working at a 7-Eleven. I was working my way through college. So I was about 23, 22. And this big, I remember a big black limo, a huge, big old limo pulled out in front of stopped in front of the store because it took up the whole parking lot in front of the store. And tinted windows and everything, you couldn't see what was going on. And this guy came in and they were buying alcohol, beer and stuff like that. It was like 1 or 1:30 in the morning. They stopped selling alcohol too in California. So it was about 1 or 1:30 in the morning. And this guy came in and I remember when the door of the limo opened, you can hear this loud music playing and all this kind of stuff. And this guy wearing a fancy tuxedo came in and he grabbed beer and all that. And he came to the counter and said, "So you work here?" And I said, "Well, yeah." He said, "I got a famous celebrity in the car outside." And I said, "Oh, okay." And he could see that I was not impressed because that does not impress me. I said, "Oh, okay, whatever." And I started bringing things up, and he was surprised that he didn't get my attention. "Don't you want to know who it is?" And I said, "No, not really. I don't care. Celebrities come and go." He goes, "Oh," he goes, "Well, a lot of people get excited when they know who's in that car out there." I said, "Well, it doesn't matter to me. They don't impress me." Oh, and he goes, well, let me put it this way. Their initials are MJ. I said, so? So I gave him his total for his beer. I told him how much the total was. And he was like, oh, he just like shrugged his shoulders and said, oh, okay. And then he left. I never asked him who MJ was, and I still to this day do not care.
I bet you I can take a guess on two guesses.
I was thinking two, too. Michael Jackson or Michael Jordan, but I
Yeah,
don't care. I don't care. I mean, what did he want me to do? Start groveling and asking for an autograph? I don't do that. And I'm not a fan of either one of those two. So it could have been somebody else. I don't know. It could have been Michelle Jordan or something. Who knows, right?
yeah,
But I don't care.
yeah,
That doesn't impress me.
yeah. Though I never did get. I haven't gotten the chance to. Of course, I don't like coffee, but the lead singer of Megadeth actually owns the coffee shop in the town I work in there, and he's actually from the town I work there work in.
Oh, okay, very cool. Yeah, he probably didn't spend much time in the actual store.
I don't know. They don't go on tour no more, so it's like, what else is he got? What else is he gonna do?
I guess just sit home and collect the royalties if people are still buying their music.
Yeah, and we're actually gonna be watching a movie here on Halloween that's about an urban legend in the area, and one of his songs there is about that urban legend. I don't know if you ever heard the song Mary Jane.
Yeah, I've heard the song Mary Jane. Okay, but you're not talking about marijuana, right?
No, no, no. That's the name. Here, I'll get the link for you here.
I vaguely remember a song called Mary Jane. Was it like a rock song?
He's more uh, punk.
Oh, then I
Punk.
don't think
Yeah,
I've heard
so
of it.
yeah.
What's the legend supposed to be about?
I'm getting it for you.
Gotcha.
I just got. Should get this should be quick
My
enough.
bot is such a pain. Seriously, I'm gonna try it again. Did your bot ever start working? Cause I remember I tried to help you get it set up. Did it ever start working?
Yes.
Okay. Well, at least yours is working. Mine, I'm gonna try to disconnect and connect it again, like I showed
Yeah, I
you. We'll
haven't.
see if that.
Yeah, but I haven't streamed since Sunday there.
Okay. This is my first stream since the Ray Bradbury Theater watch party. And I know there was somewhere in here to like activate the stream elements bot and then how to generate invite link. No, that's not it. Yeah, I remember that time that when I helped you set up your chat bot, how to unlink and then relink it to the command to your channel, and I can't even find it on mine. All right. Oh well, I don't want to waste time trying to figure that out. But this channel isn't here for that. But I did when I was younger. When I was in the Air Force, I was able to attend some Star Trek conventions, and I was able to meet Nichelle Nichols twice.
Yeah.
And I got her. She had a 45 record that she was selling called Beyond Antares. It was influenced from Star Trek, and I bought that record, and then I took it up. I stood in line to get her autograph, and the reason why I really appreciate, I still remember, and I always will, was she actually took the time to actually touched me. She shook my hand. She said hello. She said, "What's your name?" I told her my name. I was able to tell her how much I appreciate her, how much I like her character. She responded back. We kind of chatted for a couple seconds. I didn't want to hold up people in line. I'm not going to be a jerk, but it was nice to talk to her. It wasn't more than maybe 3 seconds, but the fact that she was personal, she looked right into my eyes, and she actually talked to me like a person, I think was really great. Things like that have changed. What I've been hearing lately, when people go to conventions, the people won't even touch them. A lot of times they just drop the autograph in front of whoever it is, and the person just, without even looking at the person who paid the money, the celebrity will just sign the autograph and next, 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 without even looking up from the table. And I hear that's how some of them are, and I think that's disgraceful. When they get to the point where their fans in front of them are just an assembly line for them to sell autographs, I I think that's just total hogwash, and I don't think they deserve any sort of fame whatsoever. And like I said, I think it's total disrespect to the fans and to whatever show that they're on. And it all does is just show apathy and greed. But of course, I did attend back in the old days. I know people say now about, well, security and all this kind of stuff, but we come on. We How often do we ever hear about Star Trek conventions with celebrities surrounded by thousands of fans getting attacked by somebody? People don't do it. People are not going to attack somebody from Star Trek in a room full of 1,000 fans. People aren't stupid. So, I mean, in my opinion, it wouldn't kill anybody to at least shake your hand. That's not going to kill them. If they're paranoid, they can have a bottle of hand sanitizer or whatever. I mean, if they want to look like a fool, they can wear latex gloves. But I think at a minimum, they should at least shake your hand, at least look you in the eye and say hello. If you're paying $50 for an autograph, but that's just a personal opinion. But like I said, Nichelle Nichols was not like that at all. She was very friendly. She spoke to me, addressed me, and I thought that was very sweet. That's why I still remember to this day. I need to silence my phone. Oh,
Yeah.
no more
Eh,
alerts, phone. Sorry, I didn't mean to go rambling on like that.
No, you're perfectly fine.
I know that. Where is my Wikipedia I just had? Okay. Oh well. Do this again. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the proper story here, but I'm not finding it.
Well, I know I was going to read a little bit from Michelle Nichols' website, but it doesn't really say much to it. I'm really kind of wary about it because in the last years or so of her life, I had heard that they were giving her the treatment like they did Stan Lee, that she was had dementia, and people were just taking advantage of her for money. I hope that's not true. I hope her son was a good man. That may have hopefully been mostly rumor. But Nichelle Nichols was originally born Grace Dell Nichols, and she was born the third of six children on December 28, 1932, in Robbins, Illinois, a suburb of Chicago, to Samuel Ern Nichols, a factory worker who was elected both town mayor of Robbins in 1929 and its chief magistrate, and his wife, Licia Parks Nichols, a homemaker. Later, the family moved into an apartment in the Woodland neighborhood of Chicago. Nichols attended Englewood High School, from where she graduated in 1951. Nichols always studied in New York City and Los Angeles, so she knew how to strike. She started from the top, so she knew what to do. By the way, she was only 5'5", so very powerful, commanding person for her stature. It goes to show that size definitely does not matter. Nichols' break came in an appearance in Kicks and Company, Oscar Brown's highly touted but ill-fated 1961 musical. In the thinly veiled satire of Playboy magazine, she played Hazel Sharp, a voluptuous campus queen who was being tempted by the devil and Orgy magazine to become Orgy Maiden of the Month. Although the play closed after a short run in Chicago, Nichols attracted the attention of Hugh Hefner, the publisher of Playboy, who booked her for his Chicago Playboy Club. She also appeared in the role of Carmen for a Chicago Stock Company production of Carmen Jones, and performed in a New York production of Porgy and Bess. Between acting and singing engagements, Nichols did occasional modeling work. In January of 1967, Nichols was also featured on the cover of Ebony magazine and had two feature articles in their publication in 5 years. Nichols toured the United States, Canada, and Europe as a singer with Duke Ellington and Lionel Hampton bands. On the West Coast, she appeared in The Roar of the Grease Paint and For My People, and she garnered high praise for her performance in the James Baldwin play Blues for Mr. Charlie. Prior to being cast as Lieutenant Uhura in Star Trek, Nichols was a guest actress on television producer Gene Roddenberry's first series, The Lieutenant, from 1964 in an episode To Set It Right, which dealt with racial prejudice. I've read a lot about this Lieutenant series that Gene Roddenberry worked on before Star Trek. He got a lot of people from, I believe, if I remember right, I think that's where he pulled William Shatner, Leonard Nimoy, DeForest Kelly, Grace Lee Whitney. He pulled a lot of them from that one show. So it's the Lieutenant's influence definitely seen throughout Star Trek. On Star Trek, Nicole was one of the first black women featured in a major television series. Her prominent supporting role as a bridge officer was unprecedented. Nichols was once tempted to leave the series, however, a conversation with Dr. Martin Luther King changed her mind. Toward the end of the first season, Nichols was given the opportunity to take a role on Broadway. She preferred the stage to the television studio, which most actors and actresses did. They preferred the stage. So she decided to take the role. Nichols went to Roddenberry's office, told him that she planned to leave, and handed him her resignation letter. Roddenberry tried to convince Nichols to stay, but to no avail. So he told her to take the weekend off, and if she still felt she would leave, then he would give her his blessing. That weekend, that fateful weekend, is when Nicole attended a banquet that was being run by the NAACP, where she was informed that a fan really wanted to meet her. And this is where she met Dr. Martin Luther King, and he informed her that she cannot leave the series, that her role is very important for what she's doing for black people and for women, and that Star Trek was the only show that he allowed his family to watch. So Dr. Martin Luther King was a Star Trek fan, and with those words, she changed her mind, went back to Roddenberry, and said that she'll stay. So we can all thank Dr. Martin Luther King for that. Without him, we would not have a her, or we would have had some replacement. Chances are, in my opinion, they probably would have replaced her with Yeoman Janice Rand. They were kind of eyeing her for a larger role in the original series, but it was due to her drug activity because she had a lot of problems with drugs. Is the reason why her character did not last throughout the series and ended up just in cameos. Oh, and by the way, Grace Lee Whitney, who played Yeoman Janice Rand, for many years lived in Fresno, and that's where I lived. When I was a teacher working around at different schools, I knew her son, Jonathan. He was an English teacher at Tehipite Middle School. And when I got I helped write a grant for like $1.2 million. And it was to help bring computers and internet technology into the classroom. This is the late 90s. So internet was not in the schools yet. So when I got that big grant to bring computers and internet into the school, Jonathan, her son, was excited because all the money that I could spend in his class, he wanted to get all the computers in his class, which I can understand his enthusiasm, but the money had to be distributed evenly to everybody, so everybody needed to get some. But he sort of kind of acted like he had celebrity status, so he expected more than a lot of the other teachers. He had pictures on the wall of his classroom of all the different celebrities that he met through his mother. He would have celebrities come to the school and do appearances, and there was many. I give him credit for that. He had a lot of people there, and there was many times I was in his classroom working, setting up his internet, wiring up his computers, bringing in new computers, unpacking computers, setting them up. Many times where I was doing my job and he was on the phone talking to his mother, Grace Lee Whitney, and I could hear her voice because it was quiet. This was after school, so it's just me hooking up computers and him on the phone with his mother. And he's like, "Well, yeah, mom, this and mom, this and mom, that." And I can hear her voice talking to him, and they're going back and forth having conversations. And I'm thinking, my God, that's Yeoman Janice Rand on the phone. So I was kind of starstruck. But he was a nice guy. I mean, oh, and by the way, this the same teacher Jonathan, who was her son. He was in that episode with Miri, where the kids bonk on the head. He's one of those
Yeah.
kids playing. He's one of those kids playing that little kid.
Okay.
So because when they made that episode, Miri, William Shatner brought his kid in, and a couple of the other actors brought in their kids. So that's how they got a lot of those kids for those scenes. And one of them was Jonathan, Grace Lee Whitney's son, who, like I said, later eventually went on to be an English teacher at Hippity Middle School in Fresno. So I
Okay.
thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah. I'll put a
Minnesota
thing in the
haunted
private chat
houses.
for you. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I just saw that. I'm going to take a look at that, and I'm going to save it so I can look at it later. I appreciate that.
yeah. It doesn't tell the whole story, but you'll get the gist of the story.
But that explains Mary Jane, huh?
Yeah, it was started by freaking dealer back down, down in the lakes area to get more tourists to the area so they could sell more whiskey.
Bootlegging.
Now this was before Prohibition.
Well,
This
yeah,
was
but
this
yeah,
was
but
the
I'm
1880s.
okay,
This was the 1880s.
right. But even before and after bootlegging, I mean, even before and after Prohibition, bootlegging was illegal. They just didn't like people making their own booze, and especially when they carried it over county lines.
Oh, this would be state lines.
Well, state or county, right?
Yeah, no, but yeah, it was yeah, I believe it was like a trader or something. They wanted to bring more tourists to the area, so they started their urban legend after she died of diphtheria. The story is
Okay,
actually pretty
okay. So in a quick nutshell, what is she? What is it supposed to be like? A ghost who haunts the road? Something like what is she?
a witch, a witch who well, like possessed people and all that. I'll I'll be showing the movie here on Halloween. That
But is the movie called Mary Jane?
No, it's called Loon Lake. I'll get it here.
Loom, Loom.
Yeah,
I may have seen that. That name sounds familiar. Let me see. I'm gonna look it up right now.
yeah, I'm looking it up. Here, I got it.
Loon, Loon, as in Nancy.
Eric, private chat. It's just a sec.
Well, if you want to share your screen, you can. Let's see.
Oh,
I don't know if there's anybody out there watching this or not.
yeah. Share screen.
Yeah, it looks kind of low budget. Is it good?
I like it, but you're talking to a guy who defends bad movies and bad episodes. So, how much is my word worth?
Well, is it so? There we go. Okay, we can see it now. Does it look professionally done, or does it look like something that a bunch of friends shot on a camcorder?
It looks like the like a homemade documentary.
Oh, so they're trying to look like the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah, here you can kind of see it. See, they got silent clips. It's not. I'm not playing the audio.
That's fine.
But you can see the kind of the clips in there.
I know after the Blair Witch Project was popular, they started making a whole bunch of movies where it was kind of like a documentary kind of look.
Yeah. See, and that headstone's not out there anymore. It's actually in the county museum because the sheriff's department got tired of fishing it out of the lake.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably vandalism.
Yeah, they've actually cleaned it up quite a bit since I was out there as a kid. I've actually made a bunch of shorts of it, and it's actually a lot cleaned up, a lot better than it was.
I take it what she was attacked by the townspeople and killed.
Well, that's the story, but like in real life, she died of diphtheria, but the urban legend says she was beheaded because they accused her of being a witch.
That's a big difference between diphtheria and being beheaded.
Yeah, it's because some trader or a whiskey seller made up the story to get more people to the area. So it's
Yeah,
really I'm out of the middle of nowhere.
yeah, it sounds something like something would like people would make up. Even during the Salem witch trials, I don't think I heard of them beheading people.
Yeah, but here's the synopsis of the whole thing.
Okay.
Oh, they even changed the name for it because the actual name is Tilliger, Twilliger. They
But
changed
it
their last name on this.
Turlind. So it was Twillager, and they changed it to Turlington.
Yeah.
Director Ansel, writers Ants. I never heard any of those names before. It looks like maybe a local production. Maybe it was
Well,
made
the
locally
guy,
there.
the guy lives up in the cities now. He moved out to LA for like 15 years, but he's originally from the area. That's how he knew about the urban legend, and that's how he came about to making the movie. Yeah, I'm not sure what the budget or anything of it was.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give the movie?
Well, I'm biased since it's about my hometown there, so I'll give it a nine. Nine. But if you like horror movies, it's it's pretty decent, especially for like I do like the more homemade look for it than the professional look for it.
Well, it does say right there, trivia. The film was produced on a very minimal budget, and the entire production was crew consisted only of the people's names who performed double duty as both actors and crew. This team of 5 people managed all tasks, including designing and manufacturing props, locations, and extras management, gapping, focus pulling, special effects, wardrobe, and overall production coordination, in addition to their own principal jobs as director. Oh, yeah, it sounds like they were
Yeah,
really in on it.
yeah. There's literally only five people in the whole movie.
I
They
don't
don't
care.
even.
Look at one of the biggest movies of all is Evil Dead. I mean, that was low budget. It had just a few people, right?
Yeah,
As long as it's done right, I'm all for it.
yeah,
I don't mind if it's low budget. I mean, I was going to tell you about the Toxic Avenger. So I don't have problems with low budget as long as they handle it well. Like as long as it doesn't look like friends just pointing a video camera at each other. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. But and I think it was done pretty damn good. I like that it's not like the professional look, but it's still done decently.
Well, maybe I'll try to check out the watch party when you have it if I'm not working.
Yeah, it'll be on a Sunday.
Well, I usually work Sundays until let's see, about 8:30 p.m. your time. So I guess that's probably going to be too late, right? 8:30 9 p.m. your time.
I can maybe talk to Germ. I can figure something out,
You don't
or
have to
we can
shift your
watch it
time for
in,
me.
or we can watch it in the backstage here.
It's okay. You don't have to shift your time for me. Um,
Tomorrow we can watch it in the like, or one of these days we can watch it in the backstage for you.
well, I know tomorrow I've got my stream with Jill for the
Yeah, you got
Orville.
the Ray Bradbury. If you could do that at 5, that'll work out great.
Gorilla, you know that I watched and that Jill and I reviewed season 1 and 2 of the Orville, right?
Yeah,
Did you see on Bird Stream today where I was told that I always hated the Orville and that I went in wanting to hate it?
I, all I could do was listen. I couldn't really watch the comments and all that.
Yeah, it's like, what do these people do? What are they saying? It's like they don't even know who I am, and they're saying that I went into the show hating it from the first place. And they don't even know about my stream with Jill. I don't
I don't know.
know.
This things has been up and down. Like the last two episodes were great, but I got like pissed off at episodes 3 and 4.
Well, I guess you're not allowed to give your opinion now. Otherwise, people are going to come after you for it. That's what happened to me.
That's always been the case. Just some of the guys like to just hand out shit. And, you just gotta hand shit back to them.
I won't do that out of respect. I was on Bird's channel, out
Yeah,
of respect for him. I'm not going to start an argument with somebody. You know what I mean? Because that's not fair to Bird. He's a nice guy, and he never does that to anybody. But he's just got a few people on there that are just hateful, and I don't know why. I say hello to everybody, and I talk nice to everybody, and respectful to everybody. But these are people who have never spoken to me. They never say hello, how you doing? I'm so and so. What are you up to? None of that. The only time I'm ever addressed by them is in some negative fashion. If I make a comment they disagree with, they immediately go straight to personal attacks. and I don't know why, but I think I'm gonna, out of respect for Bird and to avoid it, I messaged him after on Facebook. I think I'm gonna unsub from his channel. He doesn't need that garbage on his channel. So the best way to avoid it is just not to be there. I'm
Oh
gonna
no,
miss him.
well that's not fair to Bird for unscribing there.
He doesn't need people be nitpicking and arguing at each other. And if I go on there, they're gonna keep doing it to me. So the only way to stop it is not to be there, right? The only way to stop a fire is to take away the fuel. But it's nothing against. That's what I told Bird. Nothing against him. I like Bird and I like his channel, but he just has a few people on there that I'm just tired of them attacking me and personally criticizing me when they don't even know who I am. They don't even know my name.
Yeah.
They never
But,
say hello. How are you doing? What do you like? What's your favorite stuff? They never say any of that stuff.
yeah,
But I don't know.
yeah,
But I was on there because I wanted to give tribute to Nichelle Nichols, and that's the reason why I went on there. It was supposed to be a tribute to Nichelle Nichols' stream.
yeah. Yeah, my comment was just kind of it was like that's kind of like the joke there on the stream that everybody keeps wanting to get kissing Dax for the pop up there. That's what my whole joke was about. Everybody
That's
jokes
that's
that,
fine.
yeah, that's the whole thing there. And I was actually kind of surprised Bird did that.
It's okay. Okay. I'm not a fan of DS9, but I know he plays that clip because people like it, so I don't have any problem with that.
Yeah,
I know people enjoy it, so why not, right?
yeah. Well, I think you'd really enjoyed it if you just like. I know you don't like the start shows in the middle of seasons, but maybe try giving DS9 a shot from the episode Jem'Hadar on.
What season is that?
I believe that's season 3, episode
God,
25.
no, no, that's all right. I have to like them from the beginning.
Yeah. Let's see.
That's too bad. They took 3 years to get watchable. I mean,
Well, no,
that's
no,
a disgrace.
they had a upside up like a bunch of up episodes, but they had some that are pretty down too.
Oh, I know,
They
but everybody who's telling me to watch it tells me to start from season 3 or 4.
that's
No,
when
I've never had anybody tell me to watch it from the beginning.
well, there's a couple episodes from in the first season that I would highly recommend, but there's also a few in the first season that would I would highly recommend skipping too.
Okay. Well,
See,
a lot of shows that are hit and miss, right?
it was an up and down seasons there until until the expression Cisco got his beard, or they also kind of like TNG didn't start getting good until Riker got his beard.
Okay. Yeah, and I wasn't a fan of TNG either. Yeah, have you ever seen the original Star Trek, the original series?
I'm actually in the middle of an episode right now. I'm 26 minutes into the 50 minutes there because I've been following Lore Runner.
Well, I thought he hates the original series.
Lore Runner?
Yeah.
I think he's only had one lamentation of it.
Unless I'm thinking of another lore, but it was somebody with LORE in the name. I was on Anti Trekker's channel about a year and a half ago, and this somebody named Lore, some guy named Lore something or
Oh,
something
Lore
Lore was on
Reloaded.
there.
That's Lore Reloaded, and
Oh yeah, he kept
it,
insulting the original series, and I
oh
couldn't listen.
no,
But he kept saying how much he liked Discovery, so
no,
I couldn't listen anymore.
if you got it with Lore, he was trolling Salty on that. He was trolling.
Well, that if it was trolling for everybody who was watching, had no way of knowing. So
Well,
that was one of the
well,
reasons why I stopped going to that channel was with stuff like that.
well,
I
I
don't
know.
like listening to that.
Well, it was no, knowing Lore, he was just sitting there trolling Salty to get a rise out of him. Is all it was.
I couldn't tell.
Because he
Like
does
with
that all.
well,
He does that all the time on the Fat Overlords.
okay, well I don't know him, so I didn't know that.
Yeah,
But like Cinnabon Bunny, I know he gets on there and trolls, which is okay. I know he's just joking,
yeah. He gets on me about my shorts.
which is fine. I know he's just joking. But with that lore
Yeah,
guy, I didn't know.
yeah.
But it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way, the way that he was
Oh no,
dissing
no,
TOS, and
no. He's
that
pretty
didn't sit
good.
right with me.
He's pretty good. He's pretty good on sitting there trolling that. But he is also he'd fit in California too.
Well, so am I, but there's
No,
everybody
he
here
would
is
fit.
different.
No, he would fit in California. He'd
I'm not
actually fit.
surprised. Yeah, and Salty Trekker's from California. Anti-Trekker, Salt, whatever he calls
Well,
himself.
well, his family's from California. Then they moved to Portland, and then he ended up out in Tennessee.
Right. Okay, so my question about TOS: Are you watching it like from the beginning to the end, or
Uh,
how are you doing it?
I watched you see, Lore Reloaded here, or not Lore Reloaded. Lore Runner. He does an episode by episode rumination. He breaks it down, and he gives fantastic backstories. If like when you and Jill are reviewing it, I highly recommend watching the episode than watching the rumination that Lore Runner does
Well,
for
yeah,
the
but
show.
my question was: Have you watched the show yourself without anybody else's opinion? Is my question.
Yes, but
Okay,
I watched the episode before I even listened to what his opinions are.
okay. So here's my question: So you've seen all three seasons of the original series?
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay. Now, this is the reason why I asked. Okay, because me, I like the original series. I love it. It's my number one show of all time, above everything. But the reason why I don't, and this is the reason why I have to ask you first if you've seen the original series, so I can explain to you why I don't like TNG, Discovery, DS9, Enterprise. What is it? Voyager. Let me
Voyager.
explain. All right, now this is the reason why you have seen TOS, right?
Yes.
Okay. The reason why is, in my opinion, TOS is pure Star Trek because every episode was tightly written, exciting. There was a couple slow ones, but pretty much they told one good story. They would hook you from the very beginning, and they told a good, compelling story in under an hour, and it was done with. They did not write boring soap operas, talking heads, and subplots. Does that make sense? What I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why I don't. And even now, and people are now they first they used to argue with me, but I noticed lately, like on Klobby's channel, people are starting to agree with me. They're going back now and they're watching TNG and saying, you know what, it really doesn't hold up very well after time. And I'm like, yeah, I know. That's what I said back in the 80s. It had too much influence from soap opera writers. And it just seemed to me like Star Trek got more and more watered down. More soap opera, more soap opera. It seemed like an episode with, here's an example. I'll give you an example of just any typical TNG episode, right? The show would start out with a little hook. Oh, the Romulans would show up in a Romulan warbird, and you're all excited. Wow, that looks great. It would show that for just a few seconds. But then the plot would de-evolve to, well, Roxana Troy is visiting, and she's got a crush on Picard, and there's little humor going on, or, oh, Pesley's going through angst because he's not getting enough attention. And then what would happen was the show would focus 80% of its time on whatever that subplot was. And the only time they would ever show anything to have to do with the Romulan would be just before the commercials. It would be like, okay, they're talking about Wesley and or Loxana Troy, and someone's having a crush on somebody, soap opera, talking head. But right before the commercial, it would say, oh yeah, by the way, oh yeah, Romulans, ooh, and it would show like a little, kind of like a cliffhanger. Go to the commercial, come back, it would show the Romulans saying, okay, we won't attack you this time, and then it would go right back to the subplot. They would cut right back to sick bay or back to whatever subplot was going on, and then they'd go for another 20 minutes talking about who was in love with who, or who had a crush on this person, or who had their few piece heard about this person. And then, oh, look, it's almost time for a commercial. And just as the time for the commercial would come up, they'd mention the Romulan again. Oh, by the way, the Romulans are getting upset. They want to know what you're doing. And then it would show a commercial. And the commercial would come back, and the Romulans would say, "Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, we're sorry. Go ahead." And then back to the subplot again. Does that make what I'm saying make sense?
Well, not that might have been like a couple episodes, but it doesn't seem like that was a lot, all of them.
Okay, here's an easy question for you. Name some TNG episodes that had no subplots, where it was just one good plot from beginning to end. The main plot only, nothing else.
Best of both worlds and Inner Light.
Okay, what else? Because with
Tune it,
Star Trek, I would have to go out of with the original series. I would have to go out of my way to mention episodes that have subplots.
and then
So
there's
with
Chain of
TNG,
Command. Chain of Command.
no subplots.
Eh, Well, they bounce between uh, Picard and Captain Jellicoe, but it's all one season. But the plots intermixed.
Well, that's how they always did the subplots. It would intermix on a small scale for some reason.
No, but Joe, because they knew that Jellicoe was mixed to because the Cardassians were planning an attack on I can't remember the system's name,
This is
but
TNG you're talking about.
yeah, and and Jellicoe was sitting there trying to talk to him. Yeah, there's a little Riker drama in that. I'll admit that, but then Picard, Crusher, and Worf are on a mission to stop some some weapon that only a couple captains in Starfleet have knowledge of what it could do or have knowledge in that field. And it turned out to just be a trap to capture Picard to get because he was the captain of the flagship there. That Jelko and Jelko had to try to get him back here.
I have no problem with that as long as it was one plot. And
The defector.
I know they had a few episodes that were like that,
There was
but
the
the
defector.
majority had the majority of their episodes had subplots upon subplots.
Yeah, there was the defector. Matter of perspective, that was all one story with Riker on trial. Yesterday's Enterprise, that's when they brought Tasha Yar back. There, that was all one story.
That was a season cliffhanger, wasn't it?
No, that was a middle of that was the middle thing. You wanted to give a proper send off to Denise Crosby.
Well, why? She's the one to quit the show. They didn't fire her.
Yeah, but they gave her a crappy death, and they wanted to give her a proper death.
Well, you got to remember they did because she said, "I'm not coming back next week."
Yeah,
So that's they had no choice but to kill her off like that because she didn't give them time to write her character out of the show.
yeah,
And then what happened was she told them, "I'm leaving. My career is worth more than this. I'm going to go on and do bigger and better things. I quit. I'm not coming back next week." And
yeah.
they were like, they didn't know what to do, so they wrote her character out that way. And lo and behold, her career went nowhere. She got no jobs, and she came calling back to them saying, "I'm sorry."
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
And the most toys, that was all one story.
The
There when
most
Data was
toys.
yeah, Data was kidnapped by Faj something there, and there and they thought he was dead. They dead there, but the reason they found out that he was kidnapped is because he didn't. He's the only person who would follow protocol to the letter, no matter how many trips they're making. On the third trip, apparently he did not follow the proper protocol like he did the previous two trips. So they figured out that it was faked. So they go
Right.
hunting him down.
Now you were saying that you think the TNG and the Star Trek got better after Roddenberry died. Is that right?
Pretty much.
What would you say was better? What changed in your opinion that you liked better?
Uh, they got um, they the writers were able to explore more without being told no, 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 nope, it has to be this way, it has to be this way. I'm not TOS is great, great and all that, but I think And once Roddenberry was kind of pushed upstairs, the new generation of writers or whatever you want to call it, were able to kind of flex their wings a little bit.
They did that during the first season of TOS and after the first season of TNG.
Yeah,
They did it. They did it with Wrath of Khan too.
yeah,
After Wrath of Khan, he didn't have much say so in any of the movies.
yeah. But then he ended up, but then we ended up with Star Trek Five.
That wasn't him. That was William Shatner.
No, but no, but he said he had nothing to do. That kind of goes against my argument there with Roddenberry, because Roddenberry couldn't tell William Shatner no, and William
It wasn't Rod Berry's decision. It was Paramount. Paramount
yeah
told
yeah
Shatner he could do whatever he wants.
no, see, that goes against what I was saying with TNG. That's all I'm saying is that because I think if Roddenberry would have had more say, we wouldn't have had Star Trek Five the way it was.
Okay, but I'm just saying, as I was actually there attending conventions at the time,
Yeah,
and
no,
Paramount was so excited because Star Trek 4 did so well. They were excited, and William Shatner had a Me Too clause in his contract. Whatever Nimoy got, he got too.
yeah,
So
it,
he demanded $11 million, just like Nimoy, and he wanted director and writer. Now, I want to keep in mind, he wrote and directed Star Trek 5. At that point, Gene Roddenberry had no input in the movies anymore.
yeah, and that I think that's part of the problem with Five. But I got a question: do you think we would hate on Five as much as we did do if 4 and 6 weren't as great as they were?
No,
You still think we'd hate on it as much?
yeah, it was just a badly written and poorly directed.
Yeah,
The God Complex. Gene Roddenberry originally tried to have a few episodes with the same plot, and he kept getting turned down by the networks. So when William Shatner came up with the God Complex plot for Star Trek Five, him and Roddenberry got into it because Roddenberry says you stole that from me. That was the only input Roddenberry had. Is he complained because he said Shatner stole that idea from him,
yeah,
but he didn't have any control over the writing, the directing, or the production process. And what happened was during filming, while they were filming, you have to remember the during filming, they would have to send dailies back to the studio because the studio is funding this project. So the studio says we want to see dailies, which are shots of everything they filmed that day. They send them back to the studio. And what happened was they were sending when they were shooting Star Trek Five, they were sending dailies back to Paramount, and Paramount did not like what they were seeing, and that's why they knew they had a stinker on their hands, and that's when they started cutting the budget. So when William Shatner complained, "Well, I didn't have the budget for the end," well, that's because the dailies were, they weren't happy with what they were seeing in the dailies.
yeah,
But I'm a huge fan of William Shatner. He's my idol. But I'm going to be straightforward too. The guy's not. He's got a big ego. He thought that just because he wrote, I bet I was at a convention. It was, I think, the 25th anniversary, I think, convention. It was right after Star Trek 4 came out. It was doing really well. Everybody was excited. Everybody was celebrating. And I saw William Shatner at a convention in LA. And this was like a month before the Star Trek 5 movie premiered. And he was all hyped with himself, all excited, saying how it's going to be the best Star Trek movie ever. And I remember sitting in the audience thinking, I hope it's not an ego fest. I hope this is not an ego fest. And that's what it turned out to be. I mean, what is that smell? I don't know. My roommates are cooking something that smells like burning garlic or something. Maybe they're killing a vampire. I don't know.
yeah,
But basically, I'm just saying is I'm a fan of the original series because I like the tight 1 hour writing and the action. I don't like subplots. I don't like where it's an overarching one plot for the entire season because they don't know how to tell a story like they're doing now. I like when the stories are self-contained. At the end of the episode, that plot is over, and the next week when an episode starts, we have absolutely no idea what it was going to be about. That's what I liked about Star Trek when it was like that. When it started getting where next week is just a continuation of last week, which was a continuation of the week before, that is a soap opera, and that is not Star Trek at all. It's Star Trek in name only. which is one of the reasons why I can't do the serialized the season long arches, because I mean, for anybody who's been around for a while, because I'm old, and through the 60s, 70s, and 80s, the only time you ever saw anything on television that has season long arches was daytime soap operas. They were the only ones that pulled that, was daytime soap operas, because that's how they got their viewers hooked to watch every single day. It was to have season long arches. And then when the daytime soap operas started bleeding into the prime time with shows like Dallas and Falcon Crest and Knots Landing and stuff like that, that's when they start permeating primetime shows with soap opera. And by the time Star Trek came along, TNG, by the time TNG came along in the 80s, it was, in my opinion, handled like a soap opera. They get you a little bit of hook of whatever the main plot was, but then most of it is just a season long arc to get you to watch the show without giving you good content. But like I said, it's just an opinion. We always figured that the reason why TNG was created was to replace TOS anyway, which it was. Are you a fan of Star Wars?
I haven't watched much of the newer stuff, but I watched the first six movies quite a bit.
That's fine. I don't watch the newer stuff either, and I'm not really a fan of the prequels. So when it comes to Star Wars, I'm usually with my Trek. I usually like just the originals when it was done right.
Oh no, I'm gonna watch the newer stuff here when I get. I'm just starting to get back into actually watching TV again.
You're gonna watch like Ahsoka and this new stuff they're making.
Yeah, I'll watch it like one time at least.
You mean one time, like one episode, or every episode one time?
Every episode one time. Unless it really pisses me off. Unless it really pisses me off.
I don't know. I was just thinking about what somebody said on online the other day. They said, "Well, you can't make a judgment about a show until you watch every single episode." And I'm thinking that makes no sense at all. You don't have to watch every episode of something to know it's bad TV. It's like,
I'll
like I said then, if you have a plate of steaming crap in front of you, you do not have to eat every bite of that plate before you realize that you're eating garbage.
no, I'll give it quite a few episodes and all that, because you can always start out with like if you only like watch like one episode, that could be like a bad episode for the only bad episode for the whole season. Then you could be missing out on a good show if you only watch one episode.
Okay, well, what if you watch more than one episode and you found out they wasted your time?
Then you just I'll give it at least I'll give a show like 5 or 6 episodes.
See, for me, my time is very valuable to me. And if I feel that they're talking down to me or preaching to me or telling me how I should think, yeah, I'm out. I can't make it past one episode because that just seems to be the norm now. It seems like we want people to think the way they think, and they're going to tell us how we should think. That's one of the reasons why I'm having trouble with this season of the Orville.
I don't
But
know.
people like that. People like that. People are saying they love being preached to by the Orville. So hey, it
Well,
depends on people's opinion, I guess, right?
I'll give them a few more tries, because say if my very first, like, I love the Orville there, but like if my first episode was that one with the on the Crow home world there with the whole abortion message, if that was my first, then all of a sudden I was like, oh, f this, I'm not watching it again, then I will miss out on the great show there.
Yeah, and you know what I was told? I was told that episode was not about abortion. That's what I'm saying is people watch that and actually don't see the politics.
They had a whole
Because
5 minute. They had a
you,
whole 5 minutes the of Mercer and the Krill lady going back and forth, saying how where Mercer was saying how cruel they were to those parents and all that.
Right, well, the first thing he said to her is, "Why didn't you get rid of it?" When she said, "I had a child," he said, "Why did you get rid of it?" So yeah, I believe I'm the first one to say the whole episode was about abortion. But the thing
Oh,
is people who have
well,
far left leanings, they don't look at it that way. They look at it like it was a good thing, like a child wanting a sex change. They think that's a good thing. That's why everybody's praising these episodes about Topa. When what it is it's more people child grooming and telling us about children having sex changes. But they don't see it that way. They look at it as a good, positive thing. So I think it just depends on your political beliefs or religious beliefs. I don't know, but people like it. They said that
I,
the Topa episodes are their favorite ones.
I don't know. MB Geek gave a good argument on how A Tale of Topas was a good episode there, and it got. I was thinking of going back and re-examining the episode because he gave a good argument on how it was a good episode.
I don't need to see it again to know what it was. I remember it clear in my head. I still have to. God bless Jill. I've got tomorrow's stream with her, and I still haven't watched that episode yet.
Oh, that one's a pretty good one.
How
It
long
was,
is it? I've heard it's like an hour and a half. Is that right?
that was the one where it's Topa getting the shit beaten out of her.
No, I didn't watch that one either. But I did review. I was on Jill's stream last week, and she reviewed that one with Topa getting kidnapped. This episode is different. This is the one that's got the krill again.
Yeah, this final episode looks like it's gonna be like one of those. I'm gonna be real pissed with it.
Why is that?
It's I can show you the trailer in the backstage.
No, that's all right. No thanks.
It looks the trailer is not something that I would use to get me hooked on it or
Well,
to
that
watch the episode. Put that way.
well, I know I can understand it because that's how the other trailers have done for me. When I saw the trailers, they turned me off, especially the one with Dolly Parton. Oh, when I saw that trailer, I was like, oh no, and that's why I didn't watch the episode. So when you're talking about this episode that you're not happy with, are you talking about the one that Jill and I are going to review tomorrow? Or are you
No,
talking
yeah,
about
no,
episode number 10?
that's the one we're gonna be watching on Thursday with
Okay, so
Germ.
you're talking about the very last episode, number 10. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I haven't seen the trailer for that yet. I try to do one at a time. Like I said, I still haven't watched episode number 9 yet because I just know that I'm going to be crammed with more politics, and I don't
That
know.
I didn't think as much political, but they have to form alliances there, and I'll show you what I can show you. Here I'll show you something in the backstage stage here.
No, that's all right.
It's a damn good episode.
Let me ask you this: are they telling a brand new story about exploration, or are they covering old dirt from the other episodes before?
Um, they're what they're doing is they're closing plot holes,
Exactly. So no, I have no interest. No thanks.
but I think they're
That's
trying
my
to
point.
close the plot holes because it's the last season.
Yeah, but they shouldn't have left them open in the first place. You know what I mean? That's like somebody burning your house down, and then after the fire trucks, everybody leaves. They said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that." See, you got to remember from the if you go back and watch my reviews earlier, I didn't like them leaving all that stuff open because I don't like them going back to those same stories over and over and over. How many times did they go back to Topa?
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
I'm not the one, but I've been hearing people are saying people are finally saying online, and I even heard Bird say it that they're all Topa'd out. So people are starting to finally agree with me.
I think they overdone it, but I do kind of like the continuity factor that they're trying to put in. But they
Okay, let
might
me
be
ask you
oh,
this: can you imagine if Star Trek TOS did that, where they stopped telling stories, stopped traveling,
yeah.
and every episode was going back to a previous episode? Can you imagine if they did that?
Well, what I was saying is I'm liking the continuity that they're trying to establish, but they're overdoing it. That's what I was trying to say.
You think that they cannot have continuity if they would just have new episodes where they're just exploring
Well,
and
I
stop
kind of
leaving plot holes open.
well, I kind of like leaving like some plot holes and then coming back to close them later. I do
That's
kind
a
of like
soap opera. That is a soap opera. That is a soap opera. There's no reason for that. That's what I'm saying. If they're intentionally leaving plot holes open for a later episode, that is a soap opera, straight up. But I guess you like that. If people like that, that's just an opinion. Some people like it. I don't. I don't like soap operas.
and maybe it's because my mom likes watching soap operas is why I kind of like that.
Did you? Oh, I guess you watched them with her.
Well, she liked to watch like Beverly Hills 90210.
Yeah, but my question: did you watch it with her?
Yeah, in the summertime.
Okay, then that's why you're used to it. Well, for somebody who did not watch soap operas and who still don't, it's not appealing. It's not good. Yeah, I guess it appeals to people who like soap operas, but we're not talking about soap operas. I thought, in my opinion, I don't think soap operas and soap opera writing has any room for prime time television. I don't know, but if people like that, oh well. People like soap operas, you know.
There's a down in Mexico, they have it that a soap opera cannot last more than 3 months is because people are getting addicted to them and just watching soap operas after soap operas. So
Well, they love soap operas in Mexico, and I
so
have a friend from Portugal too. They love them there too.
they limit them to three. The soap opera cannot last more than 3 months.
But then after the 3 months, they just start with another one, right?
Yeah, pretty much. It,
Okay.
it's like banning it's like banning cocaine so everybody goes to crack, so then they ban crack, so
Yes.
then everybody goes to heroin.
The
Or they ban
heroin, right?
heroin.
Oh, you don't want that. Oh, we have had heroin for 3 months, everybody. Now we're going to introduce you fentanyl.
Yeah, that's true. But
No, I used to when I was young. I'd go to friends or family's house and visit,
all right.
and there would be somebody watching soap operas on TV, and I could never
Here,
get into it.
I'll be back in like 20 seconds. I'm gonna go grab a pop.
Go for it. And if there's anybody out there listening, I hope I'm not ignoring you. We're just kind of having random talk and chat about things in general, sci-fi and television. This stream is in honor of the beautiful, wonderful, talented, smart, engaging, and the legend that is Nichelle Nicholas. She will be sorely missed. And by the way, she worked with NASA. So in my opinion, I think, in my personal opinion, Nichelle Nichols was closer to being an astronaut than William Shatner ever was. I mean, I love William Shatner, but the guy just went up into the low Earth orbit and back down again. I don't think that classifies as an astronaut.
Well, you really
But
think Bezos was gonna spend the money to keep him up farther?
no. I'm not questioning if they should have went further. No, what I'm questioning is everybody that bounces up like it's like a ride, and they just go up to the top. They go up to the top, they come back down. They're handing out pins, and giving everybody astronaut symbols. That's what I disagree with. Those people are not astronauts who earned that name. They're just rich multimillionaires who paid for a fancy seat on the world's most expensive roller coaster. And Nichelle Nichols, she actually worked with NASA. She worked with training people. She influenced people with NASA. So I think she should be, if anything, an honorary astronaut, unlike William Shatner. But like I said, I'm a huge William Shatner fan, but I will be real. He is no astronaut. Just because he's a multimillionaire and was able to afford a seat to go into, and I'm going to remind everybody, he didn't even go into space. He just went up just far enough where there's no gravity and then back
Did
down
he
again.
actually pay for a seat, or did Bezos comp him a seat?
Well, it doesn't matter. He could have paid for it, but I think Bezos. Here's what I thought. What I thought was interesting is I thought Bezos did it but when it first was happening and all the hype and everybody was talking about it, I thought Bezos did it for publicity because his space program is so far behind Elon Musk's. Elon Musk, his space program is leaps and bounds beyond Bezos. So I thought Bezos was doing it as a publicity stunt. So I thought he was offering the ride for free to William Shatner because I thought, well, I heard he was a Star Trek fan. By the way, Bezos also bought the 11-foot Star Trek model from the movies, the Enterprise refit. He bought that thing and he has it in his office.
So I'm pretty sure you comped William Shatner, right?
Right,
Now,
but then if
now
anybody who saw that stream, you watched it, right?
I watched bits and pieces of it. I was
Okay, well,
looking
what happened was when the
because
ship came down,
I
when
only
the
watched.
ship,
Oh, sorry.
well, I watched it several times. In fact, the day that it happened, there was viewing parties several times, and we watched it over and over on LDGs and then again on Jedi Bill's channel. What happened was the ship came back, landed. William Shatner got out, and you could tell the man was moved. You could tell he had tears in his eyes. You could tell he was speechless for a minute. And what did Jeff Bezos did? He ditched him right there in front of the cameras. And
Yeah,
that's what surprised the hell out of me because William Shatner tried to talk to Jeff Bezos and tell him what his thoughts were, and Jeff Bezos just turned his back on him and ignored him.
yeah.
And that I thought was odd. So I'm not sure if it was given to him for free or not because after Bezos treated William Shatner that way after the flight, that really I lost a lot of respect for Bezos.
I know. I took one look at that plane, and the first thing that went through my mind was that old Austin Powers joke. You know which one I'm talking about, don't you?
Well, I know what you're referring to, but rockets have been designed with that look ever since
With
fiction. Ever since before we actually had rockets going into space,
with
they've
the
always
old,
had that design. I don't know why people have to put that on that one ship.
well, the ones I've seen are the ones they launched, like the Columbia and the Challenger. This one
Those
here
weren't
was,
rockets. Those weren't rockets. Those were more of like airplanes.
yeah, but this one here just look.
How come they don't say that? I mean, are they saying that about Elon Musk's rocket?
I don't know. I haven't seen. I'll look up Elon Musk's rocket. I've never
Yeah,
seen.
Starship. They've been having several trial periods. But what I'm saying is the design for a rocket where it has a cone on the top and then it's got a cylinder fuselage with legs. That goes way back to science fiction. And I don't understand why people are labeling that spaceship like they do. It's like they're looking for anything.
No, what I was looking at, it had a instead of like having a more pointed top, it had more of a round, like a mushroom tip.
The tip is designed for space debris.
Yeah, Elon
People
Musk.
were acting like he designed it to look like a penis intentionally, and that is not the way it works. He's not going to spend billions of dollars on a program just so it looks like a penis. There's a building in San Francisco they built, and people said the same thing about it. And all it is a cylinder with a point on the top. I don't know. Twitter has just turned people so nasty. I bet you that's where that probably that those comments about that ship probably originated was from Twitter. You've got to say negative things about everybody and everything. I don't get it.
Well,
And I'm not a fan of Jeff Bezos, by the way. I'm not defending Jeff
yeah,
Bezos. I'm not a fan of him. But
yeah,
I
yeah.
understand rockets, and I know the way they're designed, and they're designed like that for a reason.
Well, I'm looking at both of them here, and Elon Musk has like a very pointed tip with two wings at the top and the wings at the bottom there.
Well, his
And
is actually designed to go into space, not just lower Earth orbit.
okay, that might be the whole difference here, but Jeff Bezos is all the whole top is just like rounded, then the middle cylinder is a lot smaller there. That's where people are getting that image from.
The only reason why it's more rounded like that is it's not designed to go into space, and it was designed for comfort. Because remember that the tip, all it is a round seating area where all there's like 8 seats that all face each other, right?
Okay, I've never seen the inside of it, so
Yeah, if you watch the video with William Shatner, it shows the inside of it. He's looking out the window, and it shows the other people and everything.
yeah. What I just seen was the outside, and the first thing that came to mind was old Elon or the old Austin Powers joke here. And Elon Musk's his is actually designed to deliver stuff into space too, ain't it? Like payloads.
And people.
Yeah.
And Bezos is not. Bezos is just to put people in the nose, put them up in Earth orbit, and bring it back down. That's all.
Okay.
But there was a movie that came out called in 1974. That was before Austin Powers, wasn't it?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it was. Austin Powers was late 90s. So in 1974, a movie came out called Flesh Gordon. Have you ever heard of it? It's a parody of Flash Gordon.
Flash Gordon? No, I have never heard of it.
All right, I'm going to show you something. Bear with me here. And you've heard of Flash Gordon. Have you heard of Flash Gordon, like the show or any of that kind of
I've
stuff?
heard of it, but I've never seen it.
Okay, well, it's basically like a 50s serial kind of thing. All right, you got that? Okay, now
Okay.
let me pull this up. Now I'm going to share my screen. This is from 1974. I know people love giving credit to Austin Powers. I don't know why, but I'm going to share
Because
my
it's
screen
probably
here.
more popular.
Actually, no, Flash Gordon more popular because it was made by the people who did Star Wars. But anyway, share screen. Here we go. And this is from the movie Flesh Gordon, 1974.
I would be making the exact same jokes.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm thinking if people are going to make that joke, then why don't they compare it to this? Because in this, it was a much better joke than it was in Austin Powers.
Uh, did they actually do the whole joke in Flash Gordon, or
Yeah, but this Flash Gordon, this is a whole entire complete movie. I have it on my server. Maybe we should do a watch party sometime.
yeah, go for it. I'd love to watch it. And I will say I will be making the exact same jokes about it.
Which is fine because that's why they designed it like that was because it was a joke within the movie itself.
Yeah. Here, I want to share.
I hope that doesn't get me struck on YouTube.
No, you're talking about Flash Gordon. Here, I'm gonna share. This here was the picture that I got, and it got there. Then some of them actually made a montage of the whole Austin Powers joke with it. But this is the one image that I really seen of it, and I did not know the purpose of that. I just seen that this was a lot more rounded up here than it was for Elon Musk. There, I thought his was actually. They're both kind of for the same purpose there, because
No, if you look at that picture again and look at the cone at the top, you'll see that it's surrounded by windows. It's
yeah.
all windows.
And see, this is Elon Musk's rocket, SpaceX.
His is solid, right? His is solid silver or stainless steel.
Stainless steel. Then so that's why that's why the whole joke got started, was just basically the shape, and then nobody really did explain that it's for a whole different what the reason for the different shapes.
Well,
See, I
because
probably
they're expecting people to know that already.
I don't follow along with the stuff as like I listen, like the most I get for my space is from Antov Petrov, Cosmo X,
Oh, I like his channel. Yeah, yeah, I watch his videos.
and Simply Space. Those are my three space ones. Well, I did. Well, Eli, who doesn't post, hasn't posted anything in a long time. I don't know why, but those are my three main channels that I listen to for my space stuff.
Have you ever seen the channel Secure Team 10?
No,
Oh. Hmm. Secure Team 10 has got a lot of UFO stuff on there. He's got a lot of videos and pictures of
uh,
UFOs.
oh, speaking of UFOs, there, how screwed up does stuff have to be that the Pentagon releases thousands or hundreds of files on UFOs and nobody gives a shit?
Wait, 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 wait. They were forced to release a statement. In that statement, they used permanent marker to black out everything that was in it.
No, they released a ton of files on different UFO encounters, but
Photos and videos?
yeah, they even released some
Uh,
videos and all that. But
Pull it up.
uh,
Let me see.
uh, uh, let's see.
So what are you saying? It was all fake, or people don't believe it, or what are you saying?
Nobody gave a shit because I don't know what the hell was going on here.
Because one I saw where they basically released a bunch of pages saying there's nothing out there. They're not going to tell us what's going on. You really think they're going to tell us their real secrets? Did you know that the Russians were trying to build a space station on the moon?
Yeah,
And so are we, right?
China, Russia, and us are all gonna be fighting for it.
No, 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 no. I'm talking about in the 1960s.
Oh yeah, they. Here's one report from NPR. They released information on over 400 UFO incidents, but nobody was covering it. Nobody really gave a crap.
That's
Yeah.
stuff from Project Blue UFO, though. Okay. Do you know what Project UFO is?
No.
Okay, the Air Force came out with it starting in about the 1940s or 50s when all the sightings started really increasing. This was like after Roswell. So the Air Force came out with what they call was Project Blue Book. They called it Project Blue Book. And what they did was they sent a team of just two or three investigators from the Air Force out to where the sightings had happened, where people had photographs or film or it's certain other sightings. Their job was to debunk everything. So even things that were real, they debunked and said they were fake.
Yeah.
Because they give, you got to remember that the government gives more misinformation than they give information. And they do that to confuse people. So by the time that report came out, a lot of that stuff was just stuff that had been intentionally debunked by Project Blue Book.
Yeah. Here, I got another thing I'm sharing here. This is from the National Archives. This is here's the UFO files that they just declassified.
And I guarantee you, if you go and look through those, there is no evidence of any sort of UFOs.
Well, let's look at one. Oh,
Because what I'm saying, if they ever came to a day where they actually said, yes, there are UFOs, we have been lying to you this entire time, and if they ever said that publicly on the news, and we would all know it, there'd be a big reaction.
no, they flat out said that there is such thing as the UFOs, but I think there was something else going on at the same time that took people's attention more than that.
Well, let me ask you this: did they also say that they've been lying to us the whole time and keeping secrets from us?
Not that they were lying.
I
Uh,
no, I know, but I'm saying, do you think they would do that?
No, there's always a whistleblower.
Yeah, but those are like yeah, those whistleblowers. We know about what happens with them. They're either deemed crazy or they disappear, right?
Yeah.
Like those, there's a couple of famous people who supposedly were whistleblowers from um, Project or Area 51. Remember, we got a couple of whistleblowers out of there, right?
Well,
Balbazar, he's one of them.
well, there's a couple of them, but they've done documentary stuff on it. But I can't remember what if anything ever happened to them.
Oh, they have. They've had threats. Some of them have disappeared. There's been a couple people retired, and like the videos are out there. They were retired like generals and colonels. They were like in their 80s and 90s, and they were saying, "Yes, I'm. My whole life I lied about it. We were told not to talk about it, or they would kill my family, and they would do this and that. But I'm dying now. I'm on my basically my last breath, so I don't care anymore." So the truth is, there was actual evidence, and we did have UFOs, we did have aliens, and then right after those people would say that, they would die. In fact, one of them they found him tied up, stabbed to death, and they said it was suicide.
Sounds like a Clinton op.
What?
Sounds like a Clinton op.
What is that?
A Clinton operation.
Bill Clinton?
Well, you never heard of like all these people that were associated with Hillary Clinton, and before they could say anything, there. All of a sudden, they're either robbed at an ATM and killed, or they committed suicide and all that. And that's why the whole thing comes out with people will say, "I am not suicidal. I have no intention of suicide." Blah blah blah. Then they have dirt on Hillary Clinton.
All right. Well, what I'm talking about is before that, and political dissidents have always disappeared. So that's nothing new, right?
Right.
Marilyn Monroe, the night before she died, called John F. Kennedy and said, "We've been having an affair. I love you. I'm going to tell the world about it." He says, "No, you're not. I'm the president. That will ruin everything." And she said, "I don't care what you say. I'm going to tell the world." The next day, they found her dead. And they found her stomach pumped with pills. And those pills did not go down her, they did not go down her throat. When they did it with a medical examiner, he's a famous medical examiner from LA, a Japanese guy. I can't remember his name now. When he examined her body, he said that all those pills and everything were injected through her anus. That somebody had knocked her out and then forced stuff up her butt. That she did not actually swallow all those pills. So yeah, there's been political dissidents and people silenced many times, sometimes clear up to the top levels. In fact, she was having trouble with him and she was having an affair with him and his brother, and that's what she said. She goes, "I want you to tell the world that you love me, and if you don't, I'm going to tell the whole world that I'm having an affair with you and Bobby." And he said, "No, you're not." So yeah, it happens, and that was before Clinton, right? But that's politics. You just got to watch who you piss off, I guess, right? Isn't it kind of late for you?
It's getting close to 11.
What time do you usually get up in the morning for work?
6:37.
All right. Yeah, I don't want you to have to get past your
Oh, you're
bedtime
fine.
hour.
You're fine. Don't worry. The kid will wake me up when he decides he wants to come crawl on my bed and kick me in the nuts.
Well,
So
that's definitely an alarm that will work, I guess, right?
yeah,
Wear a cup.
uh,
No, usually for me, if I don't wake up on my own, it's like I have a built-in alarm. And if I don't wake up on my own, usually my dog Rocky will come up and start licking on my nose, telling me it's time to get up.
yeah.
But I know it's late. I guess I should wrap this up.
It's been about an hour and a half. That's how long I usually keep my streams.
Well, yeah, and I know it's late, and I think it's just you and me. And I knew that it being a Monday night, I wasn't expecting a lot of people as far as viewers are concerned because my channel is not that popular. But
Uh,
I wanted to be on the record of giving my condolences and my praise to Nichelle Nichols because for me she was a legend and a very beautiful person. And when it comes to race, I think she crossed all boundaries and she wasn't about race at all. And I admire her for that. People aren't like that anymore.
yeah, and one quote she did have is she was not the first black communications officer on the Enterprise. She was just a communication officer who happened to be black.
That's right. And she said that because she's not racist.
Yeah.
And she knows that she has high self esteem and she has no reason to pander to crowds like that. So usually when people pull that statement, "I'm the first black who did this" or "I'm the first so and so who did that," that usually means they have low self esteem and they have no accomplishments, and that's the only thing they can attach their hat to. But that's my opinion.
I think a lot of people share that opinion.
Um, I am going to try to have some more streams up and coming this week. Tomorrow is Tuesday. I've got Jill's stream tomorrow for the Orville. I don't know how I'm going to handle it. Like I said, I haven't watched that episode, and I've been dreading it. I don't know how I'm going to bring myself to watch it.
I think it's a pretty good episode.
I know I'm just tired of dealing with the Krills and the Kalons and all that, and I'm
Oh,
done with it.
oh, then you really get.
You want to know one of the main reasons why I don't want to see it is because once again, the captain, who is extreme, in my opinion, coward, cannot fight or defend the ship, and he has to send the women out there to do that for him. And I really don't like that. And I think it's foolish, and it's very obvious. So maybe if the captain was an actual man, maybe a strong character who leads and not follows, then it would be different.
Yeah.
But I mean, think about 3 seasons. How many hand-to-hand combats have we seen Captain Mercer in?
None.
Exactly. But every week we get girl power, don't we? Uh huh. Yeah. No, but then you have a lot of people say that's not true. It's even. It is equal. And then I ask them to point out some examples, and they can't. It's just they like to see their own politics on screen. They don't like to hear a different opinion. But in my opinion, the show's feminism. They hate men. The men are weak. And I gave you a good example. I asked you, when was the last time you saw Mercer in hand-to-hand combat? You said never. That's exactly that's my point right there. You watch Star Trek TOS. How many times did you see Captain Kirk in hand-to-hand combat?
Well, I think that's just so they can rip his shirt so they can show his abs.
They only ripped his shirt in one episode, maybe two.
I swear I've seen him shirtless a lot of times.
Nope. And besides, even before you think about that, that was probably a trope back in the '60s. A lot of what you see Star Trek doing was a trope for its time when it was made.
Yeah, I think this was a question of trick time. Question here. I think it's more than twice. I could be wrong.
Well, it doesn't matter. I don't watch that stream. It's got some very rude trolls on there. I tried watching it, and then all you have to do is say hello, everybody. How are you guys doing? And then they'll start personally attacking you. So I don't go on it anymore.
Okay, he took off his shirt 12 times. That's 15% of the episodes. It was torn on a further 6 occasions. Okay, so he was shirtless 12 times and he had his shirt ripped 6 episodes.
And okay, now do you think they did that because it was William Shatner, or do you think they did it because it was Star Trek, or do you think they did it because it was the 1960s?
Oh, William Shatner. Because I guarantee if it
So
was
you don't think the other shows in the '60s did that too?
I don't know. I haven't watched. I like the only other '60s shows I've really watched is like Gilligan's Island and
Yeah, but no, Gilligan's Island's different. It was an action show. So my opinion is, my question is, so you have not seen enough '60s show to know or to compare. Is that right?
right.
Well, then you can't say that Star Trek's the only
Uh,
one.
well, I didn't say it was the only one. I just said I'm pretty sure because I guarantee if it's someone with a build like mine, they wouldn't have had me go shirtless.
Well, yeah, but that's back then or now. I mean, even me, we wouldn't be the star of the show with our looks, right? So that
Oh
doesn't matter if it's the '60s or the year 2000. I mean, they go by looks. They always have and they always will. But I'm saying is I've watched a lot of shows from the '50s and the '60s. Like there was like Irwin Allen's Time Tunnel and Lost in Space
yeah,
and The Man from Uncle, and they had their shirts off all the time. Just like the fist fights. That was another big thing that was popular in the '60s. Every episode had to have a fist fight.
yeah,
But people look back now and they look at Star Trek and it's so stupid. William Shatner's always taking off his shirt. William Shatner's always kissing a woman. William Shatner's always fighting. Well, that was the '60s. That's how the shows were back then. But they never say that. They never say that.
yeah. I just haven't watched enough '60s shows to know what the tropes were and what the tropes weren't. I'll admit that.
Right. But well, I can tell you just as a random observer is what you see on Star Trek reflected other things that were on TV at the time. And there were kiddie shows, designed for little kids. Star Trek was a product of its time. But even then, for the '60s, like I said earlier on Bird's Channel, that got me attacked. I think the TOS is going to withstand the tail of time. I think 100 years from now, TOS will be out there. People will be watching it. But I don't think anybody's going to be watching TNG or Voyager or DS9 or any of that other stuff. But that's my opinion.
Hmm. I think DS9. A lot of people will watch that.
Well, I know DS9. A lot of people like it, but okay, not my opinion on whether I like DS9, which I don't. But in my opinion, the reason why DS9 is not going to last the time is because it's not high definition, and the effects back then were done on video, so it just does not look very good. And audiences these days, the modern day audiences, don't take very kindly to shows that look like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. Is I know people like DS9, but I'm just saying because of uh, the low quality, low definition, and the video effects being done on video, or the special effects being on video, I think that's the reason. I mean, regardless of what I think about the show, I think that's why it's probably not going to last because everything is in high definition now. I think people are going to look at DS9 or Voyager and they're going to say, "Wait a minute, though, but it has black bars on the side of the screen. I'm not going to watch that."
Well, I think everybody understands like why that is.
Well, we do. Our generations do because we grew up through the transition period from standard definition to high definition. So that's why we know it. We know why there's black bars on the sides, and
Well, I thought that was
but
because
future generations won't know that. Future generations won't even know what a telephone is.
I thought they would. That is because when DS9 premiered, well, all he had was the square, like the square TVs, and now we got
No.
the widescreens.
Well, that's how because back then TVs were 4:9. That's how they were made.
Yeah, so I think that's. I thought that's the reason why we had the black bars on the
They
side.
are. That is the reason. That is the reason. When I was when I was a teacher, this is the '90s. I had my good friend Sean, who's now passed away. He was like a tech guy. We were the Star Trek friends. We watched Star Trek together. We talked about it all the time. We lived and breathed Star Trek. And at the time, we were anticipating for when TVs would get flat, when they weren't big old console televisions, and when the screens would eventually be widescreen. We talked about that. And him and I specifically talked about that because back then they slowly releasing movies on VHS in what they call letterbox, where it had black bars on the top and the bottom because they didn't cut out the screen. It wasn't pan and scan. And him and I were talking about how, and back then people did not understand that, and people weren't buying those tapes. They were buying the pan and scan where it was cropping off the sides because they didn't understand the difference. So Sean and I were having that discussion, and I remember just specifically telling him, I said, the day's going to come where the screens are going to be wide like the theater, but all the old TV shows are shot in 4:9. So when that happens, there's going to be black bars on the sides. And I said, and that's how people are going to see the old shows, and a lot of people aren't going to watch it. And he said, yeah, you're right. That's how it's going to be one of these days. And that's here, lo and behold, that's how it is now. So I don't know if you've noticed now or noticed or not, but there are some old shows that were shot in 4:9 that they have supposedly brought out on Blu-ray and enhanced. And what they did was they just cropped it and they zoomed in. Have you noticed that?
Maybe I'd have to look more close. I'd
Well,
have to look more.
I could show you examples. I have great examples. Here's a good example: is the show with Linda Carter, Wonder Woman. It came out in like 60, 76, 77, 78. And of course, it was 4:9 square because that's what TV was like back then. And I had all the episodes on my server. And then they came out with the new Blu-ray edition, all Blu-ray, rescanned and rehanced, all this kind of stuff. And lo and behold, what they did is they cut out the top and the bottom of the screen so they could fill the entire thing to widescreen. So we're missing a lot of the show because they didn't want to release it with the black bars on the sides. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
In fact, you can see the background right now of my stream. Can you see that? The one with the Uhura in it?
yeah.
The reason why it looks like that is because that image I downloaded was a 4:9 image for a regular television. But YouTube made me crop it into a widescreen. And the only way to do that is to cut off the top and the bottom. And that's why it looks the way it does. And that's what those Blu-rays look like. But they took old shows and brought it back. This is what you're seeing is how it looked. it would cut off the top of their heads and the bottom of the screen, and it does not look good. But I guess that's what they think that current audiences want. But for me, I'm old school. I would rather go ahead and see the black bars on the side just so I can see the whole screen. Or I think they should at least have both versions available so I can see both. I hope they don't lose the original versions that are 4:9. But that's why the picture you see is cut off at the top and the bottom
Okay.
because the aspect ratio. YouTube makes you choose this ratio. I can't do the 4:9. So by doing that, we're losing the top and the bottom. All right. Well, I don't think I have any viewers. There's nobody watching. You're the only one. But it means a lot
I
to
think a
me that
lot. I think a lot of people will watch on the a few people will watch on the rerun.
well they might when they see that it's dedicated to Uhura.
Yeah,
That's why I tried to spend some time talking about her. I didn't want to just put her name on there to get viewers and then talk about everything else.
yeah, and see, like on the East Coast, it's already midnight, so on Monday. So,
Tuesday.
well, you know what I mean.
Oh yeah. I'm losing track of time, but yeah, I think I know. Yeah, I know what you mean. But and like I said, especially because I know you work early in the morning, so I appreciate you staying up late with me
Yeah,
talking and giving me someone to talk to.
yeah. Usually I'm up this late anyhow, so I still want to finish that episode of Star Trek tonight.
And which one is it again?
The that which survives.
Ooh, okay,
You
yes.
want to finish it with me in the backstage?
Can you do you know how to? Can you share your screen here?
Yeah, but we'd have to do it off
I
the
can
screen.
end the broadcast.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you everybody for joining me. This is Pop Culture Curator.
yeah.
My tribute to the wonderful, lovely, talented legend that is Michelle Nichols. My God, she will be missed. I'm a huge fan. She was a beautiful person in and inside out, through and through. Gorilla's random thoughts. I'd like to thank you from the top of my heart for being here and giving me someone to chat with for an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah, not a problem.
And now's your chance if you'd like to plug your channel since my stream elements isn't working very well. Please, everybody,
Mhm.
please sub
Yeah.
to Gorilla's Random Thoughts.
Well, come check us out on Wednesdays. We're on season 3 of Beyond Belief, where we try to guess which stories are fact and which ones are bullshit. And usually I lose that one. We're trying to figure out a good bet here. This Thursday I'll be defending Star Trek Into Darkness, and yeah, every Thursday I defend a bad episode or a bad movie. That's why you never ask me for movie recommendations or episode recommendations because you'll have to rate that on the bell curve there for that. Saturday is Babylon 5, and this Sunday we are watching an old classic with Burt Reynolds and Dolly Parton, the best little
Best little whorehouse in
horse.
Texas.
So
I saw that at the theaters. That's how old I am.
yeah, even I don't know if the script's good or bad, or if it's or
Well,
anything, but
I'll
if
put it
it's
this way: Burt Reynolds singing. I'll let you
yeah.
figure that out.
Well, even if the script's bad and all that, we get to look at Dolly Parton's tits. So,
Oh no! Sorry, everybody. There's no nudity. Right?
oh,
Oh yes. Sorry to
you
hear.
mean I have to
No.
use my imagination?
If
Damn
Playboy
you!
couldn't get her to do it, I guarantee you, some movie studio's not going to get her to do it.
Uh, uh, Burt Reynolds can just lay on the old charm.
What's funny is I saw it because back then I was riding high. I loved Dolly Parton and Burt Reynolds. She had just done 9 to 5, which was highly successful, and he had done Smoking the Bandit, which I saw probably 8 times at the theater. So,
Please don't tell me you watched number 3 though. Please do tell me you didn't watch that one.
oh, Smoking the Bandit 3, Smokey is the Bandit?
No, Smokey and the Bandit 3 was so bad it almost wrecked the first one for me.
Almost. I saw it once, and I believe me, I did see all three of them at the theaters. I'll put it that way,
Yeah.
because I was such a fan. I unfortunately made the mistake of seeing them all, even though I saw them get worse and worse right before my very eyes. Just like the Superman movies, right before my very eyes, they just got worse and worse and worse.
Like 2 wasn't great, but wasn't bad. But then he got the 3, and I was like, What? They just turned him into a freaking alcoholic.
Now I'm trying to remember now. Three, wasn't that the one where Smokey was the bandit? Or was that
No,
four or five?
no. Snowman becomes the bandit, I believe.
That's right. Okay. Well, there was one where Jackie Gleason became the bandit too.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it was so bad it almost wrecked the first one for me.
Well, yeah. Well, not only that though, but Jerry Reed, rest his soul. He was good in the first movie, but he's not the person that can headline a movie, right? So when the movie starred Jerry Reed, it wasn't going to go anywhere. And by then, if I remember correctly, I was watching the Cannonball Run movies.
Yeah,
But yeah, Burt Mills was pretty much was on the he'd given up on the Smokey the Bandit movies, and he was working on the Cannonball Run movies at the time.
yeah, yeah. Jerry Reese, he's one of those. He's a good person to bounce off of.
Yes, he's like,
Not to be the bouncer,
and
but to bounce off.
he wrote one of the greatest theme songs ever, right?
That'd be Eastbound Dime
He
rolling on
wrote
the
that
track.
overnight. You know that, right?
Well, Willie Nelson was it Nelson or Jimmy Buffett? They wrote, it was Jimmy Buffett. He wrote like Margaritaville in like 45 minutes.
Well, a lot of singers did that. Paul McCartney wrote "Hey Jude" from a dream that he had.
Oh,
But what was interesting about Jerry Reed was the director Hal Needham, hired him and said, "Yeah, yeah." Jerry, they were all staying at Burt Reynolds' house, and Jerry Reed was there, and Jerry Reed was just like, "Okay, he got the job as a truck driver." And then the director Al Needham said, "Yeah, we just need to come up with a theme song of some kind or whatever." And Jerry Reed went to his room. The next morning, he came out and played it for Hal Needham. And then he goes, "Sorry about that if you don't like it." And Hal Needham said, "Don't you dare change a single word. That is perfect." So I thought that was great. He wrote it once. He didn't have to go back and rewrite it, and it was a legendary song.
so
But he was better as the truck driver, as the sidekick, right? He's definitely not a headliner.
yeah,
Have you ever heard of the old comedy team Laurel and Hardy?
no,
Okay, well, they were a famous team, and one of them died, and well, they got old. One of them died, and when the studios came to the surviving one and said, "We want you to be in a movie," he said, "Nope, not without my partner. I won't do it," and he didn't. So that's true class. I wish people were like that these days. And like Picard, right? He'll sell everything until there's nothing left. Or Patrick Stewart, or whatever his name is.
yeah. They should have left him on TNG. There, just let him retire.
TNG. What else? What about the bad movies though, like Insurrection and all those?
I
And
don't know.
I still remember the scene where Picard driving around in a doom buggy,
That was
supposedly
never.
supposedly supposed to be protecting the Prime Directive, which made no sense, right?
Oh no, every show has violated the Prime Directive so many damn times.
Well, you like that. That's what happened. That was one of the things that happened after Gene Roddenberry died.
Did they even have the Prime Directive in TOS?
Oh God, yes, that's where it came from.
Because I remember, I thought there's a few episodes there where the people were not of a warp capable society. But I suppose if they already made contacts with the Klingons, then the Prime Directive kind of goes out the door, doesn't it?
Well, if the episode you're talking about is what I'm thinking about, there was a rogue starship captain that was on that planet giving them
No, I was
technology.
thinking of like there's Friday's Child. There's that. What was it? Wasn't Miri? Miri. It's
Right, right. But my point was, if I remember right, the plot was that you had two primitive civilizations, and somebody was giving one side technology, making them stronger than the other. And Captain Kirk said that's against the Prime Directive, but we have to give the other side technology so they can defend themselves.
Well, I was thinking of like Friday's Child, and there's a few others that um
Well, we can definitely cover that when we. You know that Jill and I are going to be covering TOS, right?
yeah.
After the Orville. Have you ever seen the animated series Star Trek?
I was thinking of watching that for one of my Wednesday streams, maybe.
Well, when Jill and I start doing the TOS on her channel, At the same time, I'm going to start doing the animated series on my channel, and she's going to
Oh,
co-host with
oh,
me.
oh! You're gonna watch the animated series, or you gonna review it?
Review it because
Okay,
basically it'll be like her and I are doing right now with the Orville. We're going to do with TOS. We're going to review each episode, right? And we'll show like pictures and clips and all that, and talk about each episode.
yeah,
And at the same time, on my channel, I'm going to do that with the animated series, and she's going to join me as host on my channel
yeah.
as
Oh,
co-host.
I think of actually doing an actual watch party.
Well, we can always do that, but I probably have to keep
Yeah,
that separate from the reviews.
I could do that on my show after we're done. We're gonna do. We're almost done with Beyond Belief, I believe. I think we got like a bunch more with that, but
Uh-huh.
then we're gonna do like the quick 6 episodes of tags. And then I was thinking the animated series.
Okay. Well, there's 22 episodes of animated series, so you can get through that pretty quick,
Yeah.
especially if you do 2 episodes at a time, right?
Okay. I've looked up the times Star Trek broke its own prime directive. I'm not sure. Do you remember the episode "For the World is Hollow in the
Well,
Middle"?
and I have touched the sky. Yes.
That they mentioned that one there.
Well, the reason why is because there were people living inside of a globe, pretty much inside of a globe, right? And
Yeah.
they thought that was the world. But the crew of the Enterprise found out that there was an actual computer controlling the whole thing, and that globe was on a trajectory with an asteroid that was
Yeah.
going to destroy it. So William Shatner said, he goes, "We cannot interfere with the civilization, but we cannot let them die." So the Enterprise thwarted that asteroid, which was considered direct
Yeah.
against the Prime
See,
Directive. Does that make sense?
see, Kirk always had a reason for breaking the Prime Directive. Here's another one they mentioned was Return of the Archons. That's the one with Landrew there.
Yes, that was the one where they had the rogue captain, but there was also a piece of the action, right?
I like this one, number 10 on the list of 13 times Star Trek broke its own Prime Directive. They put almost every episode of Star Trek Voyager. They didn't even
I don't
list
know. Is
that.
that true? I never watched Voyager. Is it
Oh,
true?
probably, but the thing is, they didn't specify a Voyager episode. They just said every episode of Voyager.
No. And I would, if I've seen the show, I would probably laugh, but I don't know because I've never seen one single episode.
Oh, I laugh at it. Um,
The lady who plays the captain, her voice, oh my god, it's like black. It's like fingernails on a blackboard.
yeah.
Oh,
Here's the
God.
one you mentioned, the Private War. That's number 9.
You know which one that was, right?
Yeah, that's the one with the
The guys were painted half white and half black.
no. That's the one with that the Klingons gave the one side musket loaders. So Kirk
Oh,
fired
that's right.
musket
Yes.
loaders but Kirk somehow knew this guy
Oh
from
yeah, Let
years
That Be Their
before.
Last Battlefield was the one with the guys who were painted black and white. That's
Yeah.
right.
Let's see, Justice, which they should have just let Wesley die.
Right, but a private little war. That's the one where the Klingons had given arms to one faction and not the other.
Yeah. I don't
And
I don't remember this episode. The Cloud Minders. I must
yeah,
not have gotten to that one. Where is that one on the list?
well, it's about people that pretty much live in the clouds. So if
Okay,
you remember that, you may
yeah,
not have seen it yet.
that's a few episodes. That's almost the end of the series.
Yeah, there's famous shots where it shows Kirk and Spock looking up into the sky, and you can see like a city in the clouds.
Yeah, there was the Omega Glory. I think that's the one. The yearly sequence of the American sequence. Oh, that's when they found. Let's see. Today's allegory world that Kirk and company find is one eerily similar to that of America circa 1960s, with the key difference being that their Cold War went white hot and almost the population is dead. That's when they
Yep,
find the rogues.
yep. Okay, don't go anywhere. I'm going to end the stream, okay?
Alrighty.
Because I know if there's anybody listening, they don't know what we're talking about. So
Yeah.
thank you everybody for joining me, Gorilla. Hang on here in the studio. I'm just going to end the stream, okay? Because it's right at the 2 hour mark. Thank you everybody for joining us, and I really appreciate your time and your patience. And God bless Nichelle Nichols. Say a prayer for her next time you see Star Trek TOS.
Yeah.
She'll always be there for us to enjoy. So, and thank you for Gorilla. Please, everybody, subscribe to Gorilla's Random Thoughts. He has an excellent channel. He's a very funny person. and he's got some shorts. And the one that short he wrote on his road being completed had over 1,000 views.
Which one?
Where he said the road's finally done.
Oh no, that one has almost 7,000.
Yeah, what is up with that? But anyway, I'm jealous. I'll admit.
That no, that's so it's the stupidest
You never
shit.
know. It just shows you never know what people want to watch, right?
Yeah.
I put my poodles up there. I think I did a short of my poodles. And I think I had 10 views.
No,
So hey,
no, it didn't convert to a short. I'll explain that in the backstage.
okay, all right. I'm going to end the broadcast. Thank you, everybody, and Gorilla, stick around.
Yep.